everyone, welcome back to our channel. Students, in the previous video on the introduction to principles of inheritance and variation, we had learned that in all living things, the offsprings resemble to their parents as they share basic fundamental characteristics or structures, and these characteristics are transferred from one generation to other through genes, and that is what we call it as heredity or inheritance. Yet the offsprings belonging to same parents or the individuals of same species differ from each other. And this difference or resemblance or the variation which was seen was due to the hidden mechanism, and that what we call it as sexual reproduction. So since prehistoric times, our ancestors observed this transfer of characteristics through sexual reproduction in plants and animals. So what they did? They exploited these variation that were naturally occurring in the or naturally present in the wild population of plants as well as animals, and they allowed them to breed together so that desirable characteristic could be obtained in their progeny, and this would improve the quality of the crop plant as well as animals for good yield. So this was all done by artificial selection, wherein the desirable characteristic which are present in that particular plant or animal, they were taken and they were allowed to breed together. And this was the traditional farming which was carried out since ancestral time. One of the example is an ancestral wild cow breed originating from Punjab obtained through artificial selection and domestication, and that is Sahiwal, which is very well known for dual features, that is draught as well as dairy. And this animal or this breed is exported to other parts of the country as well as in the other Asian countries too. So though the heredity had been observed from millennia, our ancestors had very little knowledge about the scientific basis of this particular phenomenon. Seeking to understand the process began with the work of a scientist, a monk, Gregor Johann Mendel, who worked tremendously by experimenting the pea plants single-handedly in the mid-19th century, and he was the first scientist to experiment or to study genetics scientifically. For his great contribution in the field of genetics, he is known as father of genetics. He performed series of experiments on pea plants. The scientific name is Pisum sativum, and on these pea plants he worked tremendously for 7 years, and that is from 1856 to 1863, and gave or proposed certain laws of inheritance, that is fundamental laws of inheritance, and published his work in 1866. He was physics teacher and was with mathematical background. He used probabilistic statistics and mathematical logic in his experiments. So he was the first scientist to use this particular method in the biological research. But his work was rather ignored by other scientists when he was alive, as Mendel was using statistics and mathematical logic in his experiment. So the other scientists were not able to understand about his work. Why? Because he had introduced this mathematics and statistics which none other scientist had used in the field of biology. Moreover, his work was not widely distributed and he could not promote his efforts which he had put for this particular experiments. So he could not explain the effective way or effectively the work which he had carried out. He could not explain it properly with respect to inheritance of characteristics. So his profound work was not recognized until the turn of 20th century, that is for more than 3 decades later, with the rediscovery of his work. And After this rediscovery, after his death, he was known as father of genetics. And his laws of inheritance proved to be correct, and credited whatever work which he was credited were applicable to not only to the plants but to animals too. So now we'll see how Mendel conducted his experiments on pea plants. There were 5 reasons behind choosing Pisum sativum or pea plant. The first reason was pea plants had large number of true breeding or pure breeding varieties with the observable characteristics. Now what do we mean by true breeding? Now true breeding means all the offsprings which has same characteristic as that of parents, and this is obtained through self-pollination. For example, pure white flower plant or pure true breeding plant with white flowers will produce only white flowered plants. Similarly, yellow podded plant, pea plant, would produce yellow pods in the next generation. So these species are known to be true breeders or pure line breeders. Second reason was this particular plant was easily self-pollinated as well as cross-pollinated. We already know what do we mean by self-pollination. It is a transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower. Whereas cross-pollination means transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of the other flower of the same species. Now here you can see either it can pollinate, cross-pollinate 2 white flowers since they belong to same species, or it can pollinate to a different color flower, but since they are belonging to same species, they can have cross-pollination because both the flowers are coming under same family and the genus is Pisum or pea plants. The third reason was pea is an annual plant and give the result within a year. That is, they will produce the seeds, seeds will germinate, grow, bloom, produce the seeds, and then in one particular growing season they will die. So in this particular way, since it was annual plant, Mendel could easily get these particular plants for his experiments. Mendel could easily draw the correct conclusion as these plants produced large number of seeds and they were easily cultivated. So since these were the characteristics which were present in pea plants, this was the reason why Mendel chose Pisum sativum for his experiments. So he chose 7 traits or characteristics which were easily observable and to carry out the experiments. Now the characteristic which he chose, 7 traits which he chose were seed shape, seed color, pod shape, pod color, flower location and plant size. So these were the 7 traits or characteristics which he chose. Now when he chose these particular characteristics, they had contrasting features too or contrasting forms. So what do we mean by contrasting characteristic? That is, for a trait there are 2 forms that are present in that particular species. Say for example, seed shape is the trait or characteristic. Now what are contrasting forms of this seed shape? Round and wrinkled. Another example we can take, seed color is a trait, and which are the colors? 2 forms, yellow and green, and so on. So he chose these 7 different characteristics or contrasting traits for his experiments. So altogether he selected 14 true breeding varieties. We have already discussed what do we mean by true breed. So 14 true breeding varieties as it is shown in this particular table. He selected these varieties for his experiment. Now Mendel first made sure that each of the 14 varieties or 7 pairs of contrasting forms were true breed by allowing successive generation to self-pollinate. So how he could get true breed? By allowing each of these varieties to undergo self-pollination and eliminating if any offspring that was not a true breed. So he eliminated the true breed, the species which were not having the true breed, that was eliminated, and only the true breed were kept. So the seeds which were obtained from these particular varieties were used for the next experiment. Another thing what he did is he studied the inheritance of each of 7 characteristics individually by conducting cross pollination. Say for example, seed shape. Seed shape, the contrasting forms are round and wrinkled. So what he did, he took one characteristic at a time, one trait at a time, and he did the cross pollination. We have also seen how cross pollination is carried out. But here when we speak about cross pollination, this was the cross pollination which was done artificially by Mendel. Now how artificial cross pollination is been carried out? It is done by utmost care by removing the anthers of a flower to avoid self-pollination. So these anthers are removed from a flower and allowing the desirable pollens to fertilize the ovary and create seeds that will develop into the fruit, and these fruits will then develop into the plants since the fruits have seeds in it. So these seeds will be raised into the new generation. So this way cross pollination was carried out. Now say for example, one contrasting trait which he took was purple flowers crossed with white flower. So this is the flower color which is been demonstrated. So how cross pollination is carried out? The pollen or the anthers are removed from a flower and desirable or desired pollen grains are shared on the stigma of this particular flower, so that fertilization can take place, seeds will be formed, and then these seeds are germinated up till the adult plant. So likewise he cross pollinated or hybridized pea plants with alternate forms of trait. We had discussed earlier there are 7 different traits which he had chose, and used those seeds to generate first generation, and then he recorded the data which he could obtain after the cross pollination. Now since he chose a particular trait at a time, so only one contrasting pair or one particular character he took at a time for his experiment, this particular and carried out the cross pollination, this particular cross is also called as monohybrid cross, that is cross made between 2 individuals of a species. Which one is the species? Pea plant, having contrasting pair of a single trait. Which is the single trait? Say for example, flower color is the single trait. Contrasting pair is purple flower and white flower. So this way the monohybrid cross was carried out, and the result or the first generation whatever result was obtained was recorded. Now this particular picture shows that the characteristic feature which is taken is flower color, and since only one particular characteristic feature is been taken, so therefore it is also called as inheritance of one gene. So these true breed pea plants having purple flower and true breed pea plant with the white flower were crossed together, and these particular flowers or plants are called as parental generation. So it was denoted as parent or P. So they were allowed to undergo cross pollination. We had seen how artificially cross pollination is carried out in order to avoid the self pollination, or there may be some other pollen might come in contact with the stigma. So therefore this artificial cross pollination was carried out, and after the cross pollination whatever seeds were obtained in the first generation, they were germinated and they were allowed to grow so that the result could be noted down. So that was the first generation or first filial generation. Now what do we mean by first filial generation? It denotes the offsprings or the progeny in the first generation. So it is called as first filial generation. Now next step what he did is he allowed each of these F1 generation to undergo self-pollination. We also call it as selfing. So say for example in the first generation he observed all the plants were having purple flowers. So he allowed the first generation, whichever plants which were obtained, he allowed to undergo self-pollination, so that now second generation also could be obtained. So again in the second generation, whatever result which he got, he noted down and it was recorded as a data. Now how this recording was done or how the data was recorded, it was based on the statistical analysis by using Punnett square. In detail we shall be learning in the next video. So what exactly is the Punnett square? It is a device that is created to yield a diagram so that it will be proper representation of the data could be shown. So in next video we shall learn about how the Punnett squares were prepared. But now at present we are discussing about how exactly he started with his experiments. So this way he conducted his experiments for the other individual traits too. So altogether there were 7 contrasting traits. So other 6 contrasting traits also he carried out the same experiment, and whatever analysis or the way he had analyzed and whatever result he got, he recorded it. Say for example, the second trait which he used was the seed color, and the contrasting forms are yellow seed crossed with green seeds. And same way experiment was carried out. They were allowed to undergo cross pollination, and then F1 generation, whatever was obtained, the result was obtained, was noted down. Again the offsprings which were present or individual that were present in the F1 generation, they were allowed to undergo self pollination or selfing, and again the results were recorded in the regarding the F2 generation. So what was basically the findings of Mendel? So he observed that F1 generation resembled to the one of the parent. You can see here F1 generation resembled to the one of the parent. So for each of the 7 traits which he examined, he observed that hybrids, or we can call them as hybrids of F1 offsprings, invariably resemble to one of the parent and not to the other. But in the F2 generation, both the contrasting traits were observed. So both the parental form reappeared in the F2 generation, and also the one which was hidden, that also was observed in this F2 generation. So definitely when we see here that since this green colored seed was not observed in F1 generation but it reappeared in F2 generation, it indicated that this particular color must be hidden in F1 generation and which was not able to express itself. So we come to know by this particular experiment, then there are 2 forms or 2 traits, that is dominant trait and recessive trait. Now what is dominant trait? The one which was expressed in the F1 generation. And which one is recessive trait? The one which was hidden in the F1 generation but then it reappeared in the F2 generation. So it indicated that this particular color is present in the F1 generation but it was not able to express itself. So we can also say that in the population, the dominant trait are seen more in number compared to the recessive trait. So here also we can analyze that number of yellow seeds are more in number, indicates that those are expressive and they are the dominant trait in the population, whereas green seeds are less in number and also they are expressed in a particular generation. So therefore it is also called as recessive trait. Or why? Because it is mostly hidden in one of the generation. Now another thing was the 2 forms of trait which appeared in F2 generation in ratio of 3:1, that was 3 dominant and 1 recessive. for the crosses between the contrasting forms of all the 7 traits, he got same ratio, and that was 3:1. And since each trait was taken one at a time, it was also called as monohybrid ratio. Now, why do we say hybrid here? Because the cross pollination is being carried out. So, in F2 generation, the ratio which he got for all the traits was approximate 3:1 ratio. When we see in this particular cross, we come to know that in F2 generation, as we say that 3 are dominant, and these 3 are exactly similar to the parent, one of the parent. Also, we see that the one green seed which is formed in the F2 generation is also identical to the parental green seeded plant. That means in F1 generation, there was no any mixing or blending of these characteristics. When we speak about blending, means it didn't give any other color as such which was present. So, how we come to know that based on this particular ratio or the F2 generation, the offsprings which were formed, they were exactly similar to the parent. There was no intermediate any other color which was observed here in this particular experiment, and similar result was obtained for the other traits too. So, he came to know that there is no mixing of the characteristic as other scientists, or when they were working on other species, they were speaking about blending or mixing of the characteristics. So, he explained, or he understood that there is no mixing of any particular traits, so that any intermediate forms or any intermediate color could be obtained in with respect to these particular characteristic features. So, we come to know that when he chose all these 7 traits or characteristics, and he individually performed the cross pollination, we see that there are the dominant features which are expressed in the F1 generation. Purple flower, when it was crossed with white, purple flower was obtained in the F1 generation. Similarly, axial position, flower position, when it was crossed with terminal flower position plant, axial flower position plant was obtained as the dominant form. So, like that, mostly all the dominant characteristics which were seen in the F1 generation. So, we should know that purple flowers are dominant over white flower, axial flower position is dominant over terminal flower position, yellow seed color is dominant over green seed color, round seeds are dominant over wrinkled seeds, inflated pod shape is dominant over constricted, green pod is dominant over yellow pod, and tall plants are dominant over short plants or dwarf plants. So, we should remember that these are the dominant features of pea plants. So, when this F1 generation, the characteristic feature which were obtained, these plants were self-pollinated, and what we had observed in F2 generation, he got the ratio, that is 3:1 ratio from all the monohybrid cross. So, it was approximate 3:1 ratio which he got. One of the example which we can take here is seed shape. So, in F2 generation, he counted the seeds, that is the shape, that is round shape, and he counted the wrinkled shaped seeds, and what did he observe? He got the ratio approximate 3:1 ratio. So, same way when he carried out with the other traits too, he got the same result. So, based on these observations, Mendel proposed or concluded that something was being stably passed down, and which is unchanged. There is no mixing from parent to offspring through the gametes. Why? Because when we speak about fertilization, they involve gametes. So, through the gametes over successive generation, and he called these things which the thing which is passed from one generation to another, he called it as factors. So, nowadays we call them as genes. And we know what are genes. So, genes are the units of inheritance. But during that particular time, he didn't name it as gene because he was not knowing what is exactly being transferred from one generation to another. So he just named it as factor, that is, there is something that is present, and he named them as factors what were transmitted from parent to offspring. And each factor contains certain information, and we know that genes carry the information or the characteristics which are transferred from one generation to another. So it contained information about the form of trait. So he said the factor which is associated with that particular information and which expressed in F1 generation are the dominant one, and the factors which are associated with the forms or the forms that are carrying that particular information and which is not expressed in F1 generation but it had expressed in F2 generation are the recessive one. So he said that there are two types of factors, some are dominant, some are recessive, and based on these factors which they carry the information, accordingly there will be dominant features or recessive features. So now we call these factors as gene. So I hope you all must have understood up till here. So in today's class we have discussed about Mendel and his experiments, how he chose Pisum sativum for his experiment, which were the contrasting traits that he used, and his approach or how the experiments were carried out, and these crosses were also called as monohybrid cross or inheritance of one gene, and what were his observation and what were his findings and conclusions. So I hope you all must have understood up till here. In the next class we shall be learning how he used the Punnett square and what are these Punnett squares, the way the statistics he had used in monohybrid cross. We should also learn about the laws which he had put forth.